Hello, my name is Stephen Darvo. I'm just going to show you a picture of my digital ID because I don't have a physical copy. My student number is D00060231. I've actually really enjoyed this course. I feel like it's been very influential for me to put a lot of this stuff in writing. From the professional development and the self-assessment and all the cool things that we've been doing, and then really pinning down theory, which I like to refer to my theory as my why and my philosophy. So I think a lot of the concepts and skills I've acquired throughout the course are really internal, where I feel more grounded, I feel more fulfilled, more full. I take things a little bit more seriously, or I've had enough experience now where I, can really slow down and use my clinical judgment, critical thinking, and assessment skills in just a new light, different approach, different demeanor. I have a different energy towards my patients now. Which is actually really cool. I put in some cool, deep reflection that was influential in these assignments. So I think my favorites were definitely the infographic for the theory and the philosophy. I chose to use Gene Watson's theory of human caring. So I don't know how to get my camera to turn around while I'm using it, but using personal experience as a real life outcome, that person-centered care, or Gene Watson's theory of human caring, takes a holistic approach that produces better outcomes with patient trust. And, I really want to be a NICU nurse, a critical care nurse. My first son, Gabriel, passed away when he was 6 months old. Sweet little guy right here. And then in addition to this young lady being born 2 months early, and living in the NICU for 2 months, those two experiences have really led me to want to be a NICU nurse and work with the babies. Being in the NICU was one of the final things that led me back to nursing school to finish, where I graduated. And Briar is obviously a very strong and healthy young lady, no deficits from being too early. But this really just confirmed my belief in, a holistic approach, person-centered care, looking at the whole person, mind, body, spirit. I do love the science and the physiology and the pharmacology and everything that we do as nurses. I'm one of the lucky ones. I started school late and absolutely love nursing school. Still do, still continue to learn and study every day. So I don't really feel like my opinions were challenged much. I kind of just felt like having a bachelor degree, it kind of makes sense to me that improves patient outcomes at the beginning of the course. And I definitely gained some more insights on the transition, on some of the communication styles, some of the interdisciplinary communication, but developing this philosophy of really examining my beliefs and values and principles in the way that I am at work and the way that I interact with others has been really cool. Yeah, it's been nice to put this all on paper. I think it's something that we all think and that we all feel and that we all have, but to really pin it down into specifics and include all the SMART goals and the professional development with it was pretty awesome for me anyway. I'm running out of time, so just making sure I cover all my bases here. I already showed the infographic. My why is really treating humans, maybe kind humans one day. If I can get hired at the hospital and get into the NICU, that's the dream, that's the goal. Yeah, my philosophy just goes into great depth how much person-centered care is an influence. And the nurses in the NICU, they dressed Briar up every day. She was in perfect condition. Everything was changed every day. New bows, new outfits, matching blankets, their energy, their communication, everything about them was really profound for me and my wife. They included us in their care. They were really incredible human beings, and I can only just, strive to be like one of them one day. That's the biggest thing, I think, from my theory and my philosophy, because they're tied together strongly. My foundation, my why. And, I don't have any other real final thoughts. I feel like we've talked about it all pretty well with the time I've already gone over. So, yeah, thanks for listening, and thanks for an awesome course. I look forward to the next one.